So today I am so excited to sit down and talk with Kasey Entwisle and her father, Randy Knudtson. Their story is amazing. Kasey is a very fierce fighter. She's a patient advocate, and their lives have been changed because of the use of medical cannabis with some of Randy's medical issues. And so we're going to sit here. We have lots to talk about. We've been talking about this for a very long time. I'm so happy to welcome you in. So thank you for being here. Thank you for making the drive. Thank you for coming here. So first off, can we just tell your story? Can you just talk about how everything began?
Sure. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here as well. Do you want to start it off, Dad, or do you want me to?
You can start.
Well, it started when my husband decided to get into the cannabis industry, and my family supported him in that venture. And we learned probably a year after my husband got into the industry, he's cultivating for the state of South Dakota as a licensed cultivator with the Department of Health. And soon after he started cultivation, we learned about RSO. And it's Rick Simpson Oil. And with my dad's medical history, some of the folks in the industry said, your dad needs to get on this RSO. And so we said, what's RSO? And we looked into it, and I knocked on his door, and I said, Dad, I think this is what we need to do. We were knocking on heaven's door. Doctors were preparing us for stage 4 kidney failure. We needed to get on dialysis, and we needed to have discussions on dialysis. And I said, Dad, let's try this. What do we got to lose?
Absolutely. And so that's one thing I didn't know, because we've talked about this. I thought that maybe he had started it prior to you becoming cultivators, but you becoming cultivators is what led you to this. So I didn't know that. And then he resisted a little at first, or?
Oh yeah, he resisted. You know, he was on the PD and Recon Marine, you know, and we were led to believe that this was a terrible, no good, very bad plant. Mm-hmm. And so when I brought it to him, I said, Dad, I think this is the thing we need to try. What's it going to hurt? Mm-hmm. And he was very resistant. No, this is not, we're not doing cannabis, Kasey. We're not doing this. And I said, Dad, I think we are. We need to do this. And we negotiated contracts for the Teamsters for the end of his career. And I said, let's negotiate a deal. And so he said, fine, for 30 days, I will take this oil and I will eat everything the same and I will do everything the same and I will do nothing but this. And 30 days later, he called me, and what'd you say, Dad?
It made a difference.
That is so incredible.
It's crazy that, over the years, I was in Nam in 68 and 69. Sorry.
No, it's...
He did things for our country that most men and women shouldn't. Mm-hmm. And he suffered from the Agent Orange, the exposure there. Mm-hmm. Lots of medical history because of the Agent Orange. It started back in the, 80s? The health?
Well, they denied anything with the Agent Orange until the early 80s. They just didn't think it had anything to do with anything. But over the years, it just kept getting worse and worse. And they give me drugs and they take medications and they'd change them and add to them and increase the dosage. And it's been doing this for the last 45 years,
And then how was your quality of life?
Well, you deal with it, you know. I mean, it's there all the time, It's not like it's going to go away. Mm-hmm. I've had the 2 heart attacks and 5 bypass and 2 stents in my heart. My cardiologist, after my 2nd heart attack and stents, he says, there really isn't anything I can do for you anymore with the heart disease. And he says, so he referred me to the heart failure clinic, which is basically they're just going to watch you. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep an eye on you, watch your numbers, and okay. So I was on the RSO, and it wasn't too long after I started the RSO, and then it was probably about a little over a year going to the heart failure clinic, or just short of a year. The gal that was monitoring me, when I went in there my last time, she looked at me and says, well, I've never said this before, but you graduated from the heart failure clinic. And I'm going, wow. Now, a person that's got the heart disease and the bypasses and the stents, and the cardiologist says, really nothing I can do. The only thing different, and I keep telling the doctors, and I got a lot of doctors, the only thing different that I've done is the RSO. And since I've taken the RSO, and it's been about 3 years now?
3.5.
3.5 years, and the number of medications that I'm on, way down, way down compared to what I was taking. All my blood work, and like I say, my diabetes, my heart, my the vascular, he was amazed. The kidney guy just don't even want to talk to me anymore. Going from stage 4, and I have my brother has a brother-in-law that's a doctor out in Rapid City, and he asked if he could, after I'd been on for about a couple years, the RSO, he says, would you mind if I looked at your chart? And no. So my wife got my chart out, for the hospital, and he went through from back when to the current, and he says, this is crazy. These numbers, there's no reason, And then the only thing different, I said, the only thing different is I'm taking the RSO, and I just take just a little bit on a cracker once a night when I go to bed, and it does help you sleep, which is huge for the medicine side of it too.
Absolutely.
People don't gotta realize that sleep is huge. So all these things, everything, the medications, what you name it, is down to where people like, doesn't make sense at all. But medical cannabis has been around forever, and we've tried to reproduce it, but we don't even come close to it. It's there, it works. People don't want to loop it in with your bad drugs, your addictions. You can get addicted on anything.
Say it all the time.
It's
food, alcohol, anything.
You bet.
Yep.
And if you listen to a commercial for any of the pharmaceutical drugs, the side effects is longer in the commercial than what the goodness for the drug is.
Absolutely. I mean, my son, who's 11, says it all the time. Look at these side effects.
Side effects is unbelievable. And with the RSO, I've had no side effects. You might want to eat another Dorito, but other than that,
I mean, and you look great, so you're obvious. So do you feel like people in the medical field are receptive, or are they denial?
No.
Okay.
I had the one doctor tell me that he says, most doctors, they'll say, what are you doing different? I says, you want to know? Most of them say, well, no, just whatever you're doing, keep doing. So when I get one that says, yeah, I say, well, I'm taking RSO. What's that? I said, Rick Simpson Oil. What's that? Medical cannabis. So now when I hit the medical cannabis word, now it's like,
Yep.
His exact words were, well, these numbers are off, then they'll be back up again. That was his comment. What are you taking? What are you taking? Medical cannabis. Oh, no. And then it turned that quick.
And it's crazy because they're healers. So you would think that they would want to know what is helping people.
You would sure think reasoning and common sense would come into play, wouldn't you?
I mean,
Unfortunately, these medical professionals haven't been trained. Their books are bought by pharmaceutical companies. I mean, they're trained by the pharmaceutical companies to push those pharmaceutical drugs. And it's unfortunate because they're all synthetic. And if we, the people, want a natural healing plant, we should have that right in South Dakota. And it's unfortunate. My dad's gone from 26 prescription drugs daily to 6.
And I mean, in your story, I mean, you are pushing to get it out there, but it's hard. Did they take down your video that I share? I feel like they did. I just got on, I mean, anything you share with it, obviously on Meta. I'm hoping YouTube, I'm hoping this will be okay. But that's crazy that you can't share that information, that you cannot say, hey, I was in this position in this place and this helped me. People want to know that, people have a right to know that, people have a right to that option. It's crazy to me.
Right. It is. We've been scratching our heads since we started. I mean, we sat down on Christmas Eve around our family and gave this man cannabis and prayed because we had no idea. We were fearful.
Yes.
We were, yeah.
I mean, you are the story. You weren't using, I mean, this is something like, this is a last resort here.
Yep.
And look at what it's done for you. And it could do that for so many others. And I know you've talked, and there's so much to talk about. I don't want to get like ahead of myself, but in terms of veterans, you know, that's a whole, we need to speak about that. But have the veterans that are in your circle that you're close with been open to this as well for helping them?
They're just nervous because as a veteran, and if you're a disabled veteran, you know, you're drawing the benefits, you know, you're going to the VA hospitals, you're getting the medications that, you know, that you're still taking through the VA and all that. People with a negativity about medical cannabis out there yet, they're nervous about losing their benefits. And that's a big scare.
And Kasey, so you are a patient advocate. You are on the board, the board of medical cannabis.
The Medical Marijuana Oversight Committee with the state of South Dakota. Yes, I am the patient representative.
So they can really make recommendations. They're not making laws, but what you've been very active in Pierre. I want to talk to you about your trip to DC. Do you feel that people are realizing this a little bit more, or do you feel like it's widening the gap and they're going further to the other side of denial of it working? Or
I think that when the president announced the rescheduling of medical cannabis and that this cannabis does have medical benefit for our system, it's an amazing thing for the patients. And not only just the patients of South Dakota, but the patients, millions of Americans across this country have stories like my dad.
Absolutely.
That are suppressed and that aren't out there. And it is hard to share the story because we're blocked on social media if you speak cannabis or anything of it.
Absolutely.
It's just mind-blowing to me. And education. I think it's exciting movement going on finally in the cannabis world for the patients. And it's very exciting.
It is. And have you been in Pierre since the rescheduling?
No, I have not.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see if perspectives have shifted a little bit. But can you talk about your trip to DC?
Yeah, it was very exciting. I went on advocating. It was Americans for Safe Access. They're a national group that have been around for about 25 years, advocating for patients and patients' rights in America. And they've also done international things. And these people are amazing. And they had an event in DC, and I thought, well, I need to go. I need to learn. I'm the patient advocate for the state, and I want to do the best by the patients of South Dakota. He's my number one priority here. And it was amazing. It was an awesome experience just to be in DC and be at the Capitol and talking to the representatives at that level and seeing what the government is doing on the cannabis end. And I think it's exciting. I think there's exciting movements. I think that the veterans are going to finally have access by the United States government. And I think hopefully South Dakota will buy into that. Obviously, they didn't vote right for the veterans on our bill that we presented last session. It's just uneducated individuals in this area. Educated people, but uneducated in cannabis, right? I say that all the time. And so I think that with the leadership from our government at the DC level, will help trickle down to the state level, and we can finally do good things for this plant-based medicine.
That's great to know, because I mean, you put your mouth in motion. I mean, you really, truly, and you've been up against a lot, because we've seen it. Anyone, like you said, you say the word and you get that immediate, well, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to. And you have been in Pierre. you've been in your community, you've been a very big advocate and like very instrumental in helping raise awareness. I mean, have you ever been on Kellerland or?
No.
I mean, why is a news station like a local or national not picking this up?
It's crazy.
To get out there.
I mean, we sent when my dad didn't want to go to DC with me, I made that video so we could share
Yes.
his story, because it's his story that's the powerful story. And then I shared that with any news station I could across this country, and I have crickets. And it's sad, because this is a Vietnam veteran that
Exactly.
30 days later he called me and he says, "Hey, Kasey, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing. What are you doing, Dad?" And he says, "Oh, nothing, just sitting here, but I think I need some more of that stuff." I said, "Oh yeah? Well, why do you think you need some more of that stuff that I had to negotiate a 30-day deal with you?" And he says, "Because I can sleep." And I said, "Listen, Dad, if that's the best that this does after 45 years of PTSD, then let's do it. Let's continue to do it, and we will get you more, and we'll go through the motions."
It doesn't make sense that people want to feel better. People that have health issues, they're looking for any answer. They're looking for any answer. And so if there is something there that could help, why is there a block? Well, we know why.
Right.
That's a whole other.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been wrapping my hand. I've been saying, why, how? This is my biggest question, is how is this happening? We were knocking on heaven's door. This man has grandpa 6 toes. They've been cutting toes, and they said, "This is going to continue. We'll be cutting legs. You need to prepare for dialysis. This is not good." And my cousin's a well sought out trauma surgeon. And I say, "Listen, Jason, read me his chart. Tell me what your medical mind says." And he says, "Kasey, it's remarkable what his blood work says, because his blood work was going downhill. And when cannabis hit, it started doing this, and then it got better, and now it's just maintaining, which is amazing for his system to be maintaining." Yes. He's a walking miracle by the grace of this plant, and it's amazing.
It is amazing. And just the little amount that you have to take. I think too, people think like, well, you'd have to take so much and you would be, knocked out, but that's incredible. And please continue your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no, it was just, the medications that are taken when people have diseases or problems, you rely on the medical profession to tell you, "Here, take this." And that's why, I was taking the drugs, because we want to get better. None of us want to be sick, So when the doctors say, "Hey, this is going to help, this is going to help, this is going to help, we're going to change this, we're going to add to that," all right.
Yes.
Hopefully that does it. And then after doing this for 40 some years, all these drugs and changing, and nothing got improved as far as that. And the numbers were getting worse and worse. And now they're going, "Well, there ain't a whole lot more we can do for you." It's like, and then I'm arguing with her about taking this medical cannabis, and I just don't know. And when I took it, and when we were talking about it, it was an argument to begin with, because I was stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
But I took it.
And a believer of what we've been led to believe.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason, it seemed like, well, wait a minute here, 40 some years of taking these drugs, and then 30 days you're doing this. The first initial reaction I had was the sleep. It's something you notice right away. It's every day you do this. And you went, "Well, wow, that helped for 30 days, just the sleep end of it. What will it do for the rest of it? Hey, what have I got to lose? They're all telling me I'm going to be gone anyway. So what do I got to lose?" And the sleep is what really convinced me to, as stupid as that sounds.
It's not, because the sleep is the foundation. That's when your body heals. That's what, you need sleep. And so many people, once you do get to a certain age, that they struggle with sleep.
And it made a difference. And that people would think, "Well, gee, 30 days and all of a sudden you're for this stuff?"
Yeah.
Yes, that is why. It wasn't just because, "Oh, I want to take it now."
Exactly.
That was the initial kickoff was, wow, it did make a difference. So what else can the difference be?
Mm-hmm.
And
And
over
look.
the last 3+ years, it's huge difference.
And we have so much more. I know she's a nurse. She should be here with me, but she's my tech person. We could do this again. But I know just when she was a nurse, same thing, some of your elderly patients, her elderly patients, just really struggled and had all of these pharmaceuticals with all of these side effects. They weren't sleeping, and they started just CBD. I mean, as simple as that.
Oh, it is. It's,
So her
it's
eyes
equally
were very
beneficial.
opened
What
up.
we've been learning is the endocannabinoid system. I'm always the daughter that's like, Dad, I don't know, we should try this. The island of the Dominican says eat apple cider or something, so you better do this and you better do this. And when I came to cannabis, it wasn't a shock that I brought this to the table, because I've been bringing things to the table since day one to help this man. And the endocannabinoid system is what we've been learning about. And the CBD is equally beneficial to our system. And I say, Dad, okay, now not only is the THC a good point, the THC is great for your sleep, but now you need to take more CBD, because that is equally beneficial for your system. And that's triggering all these receptors in all of your organs. And this is why you are doing so amazing. And it's just amazing.
It's incredible. I mean, you are so lucky to have her as your daughter, and you are so lucky to have him. It's hard to get somebody to shift that's hard. That's a feat. So kudos to you. That's amazing that you said, yes, I'll negotiate with you and I'll try this, and look at what it's done.
And not only the kidney, was it your A1C, your diabetes? I mean, how is all of that?
Oh, the A1C has never been better.
My A1C,
At the worst was
oh God,
11
something, and my A1C is what was it last time?
6.
It was.
It's perfect.
It was 5'8" or 5'9", and then kind of it'll adjust, but it hasn't been over 6'2" or something.
5 insulin shots daily down to 1 long lasting. 26 pills
down to 6
a day, down to 6. He's legally blind, hemorrhaging in his eyes nonstop. The eye doctor even says his hemorrhaging in the eyes has improved. He's so convinced on this RSNO, he wants to use it as eye drops. I said, no, we are not doing it.
I've had 17 surgeries on my eyes, 13 laser surgeries, cataract surgery in each eye, and then I went completely blind. Nothing. And I had a vitrectomy up in Phillips Institute in Minneapolis, where it brought my vision back. Everything is a blur. If you're a blur, you're sitting this close. But if I had to identify, I can't identify unless I know certain things about going on. And then I had a stroke and took the peripheral vision to the right. I'm completely blind over here.
No, that's fine. I know it's very invasive, but
I don't see nothing until I get here on my peripheral vision. So that hasn't come back. Like she said, I'm going, gosh, what if I did that? But that is what has done. It raises the question now. Wow, that is something else, that if that can heal and improve the numbers, and then hear the doctors use their numbers, their stats, their figures, and say, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. That means a lot.
Rick Simpson, God bless him. And if anybody hasn't read his story or his books, they need to, because especially if you have cancer, I mean, this oil is made for our system, and it was given to us. It's a plant that was made for our system, and it is just been an incredible journey. We keep watching and going, oh, I don't know what's happening. And I mean, they called me 60 days later, and my mom says, Kasey, if we go to jail, you're bailing us out. And I thought, what are these two doing?
Why are they?
Why are you two going to jail? And she says, we're going to get your dad's blood work. I mean, the fear is real in cannabis.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of just people that have believed the hype of the reefer madness for years and years and years. We were there. When my husband wanted to get into this industry, we were like, my children, who I raised to believe that this was a terrible, no good, very bad plan, are like, Dad's growing cannabis and Grandpa's on cannabis. Mom, what is happening in this world? I'm like, listen, I'm sorry about the Easter Bunny and Santa and cannabis.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's been a remarkable journey, and we are all scratching our heads. And that's why we went to Pierre. I said, I'm an interpreter by heart. I'm a professional, and I've worked in all kinds of avenues in my career. And I support my husband's journey in his new profession. And thank God he got into it, because it led us to this RSO that has healed my father.
Yes.
And when they were going to repeal the bill, I said, Dad, they can't do this. These people in Pierre need to understand your story, and they need to hear that this is good for the people of South Dakota, and our state needs to get on board. We are 30 years behind. This man has suffered for 45 years. If South Dakota would have been on board 30 years ago, this man's quality of life would have been way better than just 3 years ago.
I have a gal whose grandmother was suffering with ALS, and she's like, I mean, at the time, cannabis wasn't legal. So she's like, I had to get it just from someone like at school, because we were at the end of our rope. We were just like, we will try anything. And it helped her. It helped her sleep. It helped calm her. It literally helped the end of her life just be more peaceful. And so why would that ever be something that anyone has the right to refuse or to censor or to block people from accessing? That's crazy.
It is.
And I mean, we know why the propaganda that is put against this for a reason, because when things truly heal, they don't want that. I mean, that is the truth. But we've had a lot of conversations, you being in Pierre, us just being in the industry, and seeing, when you get to the political side, our representatives represent us. They represent the people. This passed medical marijuana with 70% of the voters in South Dakota, meaning you represent the majority of those voters. You're there to make this a good program, to give access to people who need it, not to represent the 30% who voted against it. And it really seems like the people in Pierre are representing that 30%. And you sitting on that board when we were in Pierre, you talked a little bit about the veterans bill before that was back in October. So you had it was in January, but you tell your story, and this story right here should be everywhere. This should be everywhere. And you tell it, and it's just like, it's almost just like, it's just like they don't even hear it. They don't even want to hear it, and that's unacceptable.
Listen, I'm shouting it from the mountaintop. Any chance I get, I speak on cannabis. I tell this man's story. I have sent that video to every 106 legislators in the state. I said I was in DC representing the patients of this state, and this is the story y'all need to understand. And here I have shared it and shared it and shared it, and I will continue to share it.
And so you're sharing just via social media, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm hopeful.
Emails.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not a YouTube video though, is it?
Mm-mm.
So I'm hoping with YouTube, you can kind of talk about everything, right? I'm hoping that, this story will be seen and there can be some traction there. When you share it on social media, they restrict that. That is restricted. And I just got notifications. So much of our stuff and I think his video was one that had been taken down, but they restrict it. So your outreach, they're not showing it to anyone. Oh. So they purposely do that because cannabis is in there and they don't want that, which is crazy.
He didn't even want to go to Pierre with me when the repeal of the program came a year and a half ago. And I said, Dad, we need to go tell your story. And he's like, no, we're going to get arrested. I said, we are not, but
yes.
I ingrained this in my adult children that, you can't do this. This is bad. You will be arrested. This is not a good thing. Mm-hmm. But the statistics out there that I'm learning are adult use. Most of the people that want medical cannabis are 50 plus.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we are adults.
And you don't have a dispensary. We do. We see that. We go to our first pop-up on 420, right? And it was in Sioux Falls when we had first opened. And, she said, this is crazy. These are all, people who are over 50 and they're using it, they're using it medically. Like the stigma that's out there is just, it's incorrect.
It is. It's unfortunate. And I cannot believe these industry people that I've been meeting that have been in it for 25, 30 years on this war path. Because it's just crazy to me. The year and a half we've been on it and educating, I'm like, this is tough.
You're pulling your hair out because it's so frustrating that there's that much pushback to something that is can be so healing.
Yeah, so
but
good.
It's two different animals, medical cannabis and heroin, but they want to tie this conversation into the worst part of the conversation. That's what it's all about. No, it's not. It's about the good part of the conversation here. This medical cannabis helps people.
It's addictive. Like we said, everything's addictive.
Yep.
Everything can be addictive.
Anything could be bad for you if you do too much of it. But when you have a product, a plant-based product that actually heals and makes you feel better, I understand when a person is healthy, they don't have that feeling. But when you have that feeling all the time, wow, it's huge. Once I take one little, you can barely, well, I can't see it, but my wife has to put it on. I put it on a little cracker, just a little dot, once a night. That's it.
Religiously now.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to stop.
That's incredible. I mean, it is incredible.
He takes the CBD during the day as well. That's a concern across the country, even in DC, you know, the management of this, because all of our systems are different, right? And we are all affected differently by RSO. I mean, every one of us is on RSO now as a preventative because my entire family. And, you know, because we're like, well, if this can do this to this man, we better all get on it.
Yes.
We better.
Truly.
Because it's just amazing. And it affects my husband differently than it does me. I go to sleep right away. Like it knocks me out. And just that little bit, you know, and it's amazing, but the direction needs to be somewhere. We need to do better in this industry and in this world. And I think that with the rescheduling talk finally starting, I think we're in a great place and it's long overdue.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, your story you're it. You're the real deal.
The first year when we went to Pierre to fight the repeal of the program, one of the legislators said, if you want to get high, get a card. And this man doesn't get high on RSO. This man takes it to heal.
That's the negativity out there. If you want to get high, get a card.
And that should have been videotaped, uploaded, and that person should have been out of his political scene.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And just offensive and disgraceful.
And
to somebody
sad.
Who has served,
Yeah, sad for a public servant that should be open-minded. You know, they talk under God, the people rule, and we need to be more. It blew my mind in the year and a half that we've been in Pierre. Some of the legislators we would talk to, they would automatically, cannabis, I can't vote for cannabis. I said, well, can you vote for cannabis for the people in your district that voted for cannabis?
Exactly.
Because I think my dad's in your district.
Exactly. And
how about you vote for cannabis for this Vietnam veteran? It's just, it blows my mind, the uneducated.
And you're doing an amazing job educating, and that is the most important thing. And that's another thing too with, you know, we are seed to sale. And so with any consumer, with any patient, wouldn't you want to know exactly how whatever you're taking, whether it's food or a medicine, started and the process of that, and then what you're getting at the end? This is a pure product. You can't put that out there. I mean, I've tried to do videos, they're taken down. Why is that taken down? Why is a patient being educated on what they're consuming ever taboo?
Right, and it's unfortunate. You know, we tried to educate in Pierre, and when the executive board appointed me, obviously with that appointment came Randy, because I'm here we're here together. We're on this journey together, and we will continue to try to help people understand that there is good in this. You know, I taught my children there's a right and a wrong, but there's a wrong side of wrong and a right side of wrong, and there's a right side of right, and there's a right side of wrong. And there's blurry areas in there, and a lot of legislators have been pulled to the wrong side of wrong on this issue.
Yes.
Politically, they need to step back and really assess what's best for the people of South Dakota, because if it can heal this one man,
absolutely,
South Dakota needs to do better.
Absolutely. We say it all the time, and you hope their eyes are open, but yeah, there's that stigma, and it's difficult. You're lucky if you never have to use it, you know? Like I say that all the time. Thankfully, I've never needed it medically. I've never used it recreationally, you know? But it's just what, you know, it's mind-blowing, to say the least.
We've been in political meetings in closets hiding, talking to political leaders, telling us that we can't talk about this. This is political suicide.
When you get in and people are whispering to you because we're talking about medical cannabis. That's how crazy it is. Are you kidding me? This stuff helps people, makes a better life for them, and you're whispering. It's not right.
It's not right. You're a veteran. You served our country. All of you made the ultimate sacrifice. You've paid for it time and time again with health, as have so many. And I think, if anything, that voice should be heard. You know, if you want to say, oh, cannabis, you're a veteran, you have the floor, and you should be able to speak and be respected. You know, and so speaking of the Veterans Bill, can you talk a little bit about that? That didn't make it through. What are you coming back with?
So when we were appointed to the Medical Marijuana Oversight Committee with the state of South Dakota, we went and listened to the 30 hours of past committee meetings. And that's when one of the first years of veterans came forward and brought this proposed option for veterans. And nothing was done. And I thought, that's a disgrace. That's sad that this veteran wasn't listened to. Why are we 4 years into this and nobody has helped the veterans have access and remove these barriers for the veterans? And I said, Dad, we got to do something. And so we hit the ground and we went to the South Dakota Veterans Council, and they were welcoming. They were amazing. They all voted, and they voted to help support us with this bill. And we continued forward, and we drafted a bill, and we got the bill presented. And at the end of the day, the legislators in South Dakota just are not open-minded to this. They're on the wrong side of it. And unfortunately, they killed the bill and sent it to the 41st day. And our veterans still have no access to this wonderful option for plant-based medicine. The exciting thing moving forward is with the rescheduling, our national leaders are already talking. The National Veterans Group is a force. They know that this helps PTSD. They know this is beneficial for their veterans. And so at the national level, they're going to get the things done that we wanted to do here in South Dakota. And the VA is going to start opening up the doors. It's amazing. They're going to start writing policies, and they're going to start talking to our veterans. So we don't need a bill in South Dakota anymore. Our federal government is going to come through for these veterans, and it's going to be amazing. This rescheduling is going to open doors for patients. And like, my dad's not the only story. Like I said, there are millions of American stories that are suppressed and hidden, that the people need to understand. I mean, people in our own family are like, well, yeah, we know Randy's still alive, but still, this is bad. Well, no. Yeah, so it's exciting. The rescheduling is exciting. The Veterans Bill, I don't think we need to move forward with it in the state, because our government's going to do right. Yeah, same with the hospitals and hospices. The hospice bill that was proposed in legislation last year to allow patients in hospice to utilize medical cannabis if they so choose on their dying bed failed. They said the synthetics were best. It's just good enough. And that was sad. That was unfortunate. But with the rescheduling, the hospitals and hospices are going to have to allow it, or they'll lose their funding.
That's hopeful.
Yep. The guns are off the table. The National Gun Association is already changing the language of the written language for the law when you buy a gun. We are no longer unlawful users of medical cannabis with the rescheduling. There's a lot of exciting things happening on the government level, but again, South Dakota needs to catch up. We're 30 years behind, and that makes me angry because of this man sitting here. He has suffered long enough.
You have really done amazing work, and I'm so happy to hear it. We're moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
you know,
it's exciting.
Yeah, little steps, it seems like, but it's got to keep moving forward. You're right.
What we're learning on the Rick Simpson Oil and the education that we have, which is short-lived, right? We're learning, and is that the RSO made correctly is the right way to go, because that's a big thing in the industry all over the United States, is that it has to be made correctly. You have to know where it's coming from. And that's why this Department of Health program is beautiful for the state of South Dakota. It's a safe, regulated program for South Dakotans. We don't need those smoke shops and those bad actors in our state. Those veterans are going into those smoke shops and those those hemp stores buying that bad product that's not tested and not safe and not regulated and not grown in South Dakota under this program. And it's fearful for the veterans, because everything I heard on that committee last year, all the bad stuff happens from those products.
Exactly.
And there's no way I would let this man go into any one of those stores. He has a card. We've gone through the process. We've done our due diligence.
Exactly.
And you have to, especially in a world there's so many unknowns, and and our systems are all different. And you go by the regulated dose on the Rick Simpson oil. It's this much every night. It's just a little bit. It's just a half a grain of rice. And it's just been remarkable. But you have to be careful with anything. There's bad actors out there in all.
Well, and to us in the industry, it's offensive because we pay so much in fees. We jump through so many hoops, and I say this all the time. I wish our food was regulated as closely and as well regulated as cannabis. And it's great because you do want to know what's in. I mean, they take it to the extreme where it's just, this is nonsensical. We are doing it right. We have a clean, pure product, and people are just going to get what they think is the same thing to a place that doesn't have to pay any fees, doesn't have to, can get it from anywhere.
Yeah. And now they're being arrested for felony charges because they don't hold medical cannabis cards. And the patients are being punished, not the stores that are selling these illegal products.
Exactly.
But the patients that go in that have no idea that these are illegal products because it's in a store.
My brother 40 years ago, he had cancer, and I mean, that's a whole other story, but at that time, so it was in Buffalo, New York, at a research hospital, but they gave them cannabis because they were so sick from the chemo. And so it's like my family saw very early on, like, if someone's suffering, if someone's, in pain, why does anyone have the right to deny them something that can help?
Right.
Yep, absolutely. And if you go over the medical cannabis, tell me something negative about it. Pharmaceutical drugs, you go on forever about negatives. Medical cannabis, I have not had any negative results. It's all been positive.
You already know that it works. You're just trying to help others, understand and make it easier to access for people who need it.
Yep. There's a lot of barriers out there, and that's unfortunate.
A lot.
And to think that this all came from your husband saying, I want to get into this crazy industry.
Yeah.
It hasn't been an easy road.
No.
I mean, it's like, I still curse it for us being in it, not the product. I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer in people handling their health in the best way they see fit for themselves. And I'm always someone who I look to a natural option. And obviously 70% of South Dakotans felt the same way,
Yeah. And we're thankful they did, because it finally came, and here we are. 26 prescribed pills a day down to 6. You do the math on that.
Do the math on that.
And I've talked to my doctor, and I said, tell me, how? Your medical mind. And she tells me, listen, we don't know anything about it. We were not trained in medical cannabis. We were trained in pharmaceuticals. We're thankful. We're thankful that South Dakota voters voted for it. So thank all them voters for voting this program in, and the Department of Health for finally establishing the program. I think that, like you said, I've taught my kids, when we know better, we do better. And now we know better, and it's time our state does better.
Absolutely. So.
And I think with the rescheduling and finally the validation that this is plant-based medicine. It is, and it does wonders for our system, clearly. I think I hope it'll open minds in Pierre, and our legislators will not run from us when they see us in the halls.
That's so unacceptable and so offensive. So,
They do. That's crazy. They see and they go the other way.
And I think the people of our state, the people all over, but the people of our state need to know that. The people of our state don't really know what we're up against on the other side, because it did pass, and they're like, we have it, we have dispensaries, we have places, they're growers, but they really make it as hard as they can make it. And that's a slap in the face to the people who need it. That's a slap in the face to those of us who invested in this industry, and to the voters who voted for it.
Yeah, it was eye-opening for us. And when we were there, we didn't know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw some things from just doing the backside of the paperwork for my husband in the industry that I thought, okay.
Yes.
But when we went to Pierre, I had no, I mean, you think, well, this was voted on for the people,
Yes.
by the people. They
Yes.
want this, so
Yes.
let's do this.
Yes.
And not to mention that it's been done for 30 years. We got to catch up, South Dakota. It was mind-blowing to me that the people in the state were like, the legislators were just, no, close-minded, not on board. Yeah, it's been a road, but it's been a good one, and we're here to fight the good fight and speak the truth.
Yep.
Yeah, it's started out as an argument.
Which
you
isn't uncommon between the two of us.
Yeah.
It happens. Strong-willed daughters. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I was raised by a Recon Marine and a God-fearing woman, and it was, your actions speak louder than your words. And it was very clear that the committee members on the oversight committee's actions spoke louder than their words.
Yes.
And their actions, that the bills they presented did not represent the patients of this state. Did not do any good for the patients of this state. It was a disservice, and it was very sad.
We the people deserve better.
Yep, I agree. And that's why we're here. We're here to speak nothing but the truth. So help us God. That's what we're here to do. I said, Dad, we were on the story. Your story, we tell it, that's it.
But the story that we tell, and like I say, what I tell somebody, they can think I'm lying to them. But when I give them my records, my medical records, this is what I've done. This is what I'm telling you. Here now are the facts with their numbers, their stats, their readings. Now, I'm not lying.
No.
And the medical cannabis is not lying. It's doing its job. And I was one on the other side of the coin.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just such a prime example of so many people. And you're this story saying, I was hesitant. It was a drug to me. I wasn't going to use that. But you are at the end of your rope. What do I have to lose? And look at what it's done. And so I think it's incredible you're sharing your story. And thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you you don't have to be speaking out. You're feeling better. It's working for you. You're speaking out to help others. And that's another thing that people should realize, or politicians should realize. Like, you're not here self-serving.
Right.
It's already helping you. You're just trying to raise awareness so it can help other people and open eyes.
And there are a lot of people that could help a lot.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And again, if there's anything else, otherwise we can say cut. And I just thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to help try to get your story out because it needs to be heard.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I so appreciate you and all the work that you've done. Yeah.